Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays. Welcome to another edition of Play It Through. On this edition, it's King of Kings, The Early Years, for the NES, brought to us by Wisdom Tree. King of Kings is just one of the many Bible-related games that came out from Wisdom Tree during the NES era. King of Kings is very similar to their other release in Bible Adventure, where you got to select from one of 3 different stories to play through. In this run of the game, since it is the holiday season, I will be running through the Three Wisemen Scenario. So here we go with King of Kings The Early Years for the NES. You can see you can select from one of 3 different games. In this run I will be playing the Wiseman Scenario. There's 2 different difficulties, easy and normal, and you can also select whether or not you have the music playing. The worst thing though about the music is that there's only one song that you're going to be hearing throughout the entire game. In King of Kings The Early Years, your goal is to get from start to finish in each level, collect the different presents that each wise man would be bringing to baby Jesus, answering Bible-related questions in order to increase your health, as well as spitting at many different animals that are going to be along your path. You'll find out very early that the controls in King of Kings is very difficult to get used to. It's very slippery and you're going to find yourself missing jumps or mistiming your jumps and landing on certain enemies or in pits due to your mistimed jump. Throughout the game, you take control of each of the 3 wise men on more than one occasion on their path through the desert and throughout the other perils in order to get to the nativity scene. After each level, you get a count of the items you collected, as well as you get a point score, depending upon how many items you got, as well as how many Bible-related questions you answered during your run. Besides just the slippery controls, the hit detection in each of the enemies as you're making your way through is going to be a real pain in hit or miss. You're going to find yourself landing on top of enemies and taking no damage, when other times you may be away from the enemy and still get hit by them. Enemies will come and go randomly, including ones that will just spawn and then immediately disappear, and others which will just fall dead without you actually hitting them. There's also a few enemies which you won't be able to defeat at all. As you've seen, we have some of these falling rocks. Be careful when making your way over each of the jumps, as the rocks will fall on you. When you get to the end of this level, spit at the red fox 3 times to hit him, and you'll defeat him, and that is the end of this level. You may have also noticed that there's random fruit laying around, including apples, pears, bananas, and grapes. You can have one of these equipped at each time to your camel, and what you use them as is different projectiles. The apples are actually used like grenades, as well as the other ones will be used to spit out at different enemies straight on in order to do damage to them. These porcupine enemies cannot be defeated with your normal spit. You would have to use one of your fruits on them. They're going to become a real pain as we make our way through each of the platforms, because the quills that they shoot out when they hit you will cause you to get knocked back in different directions. Once again, be careful of the falling rocks, including when they land the second time they cause the ground to shake and will stop you if you're in mid-run. The next level is probably the first hard level of the game. Not only do we have to contend with a lot of jumping, there's a little bit of a maze element, as there's going to be multiple doors to enter. You can see sometimes it's really easy to accidentally miss a platform when trying to jump from one to another. Wait for that mouse to jump in the air before jumping to the next platform, because you won't be able to hit the mouse with your normal spit. Wait for this bird to come over from the right, so that when you make your jump, you end up not running into him. Ignore this door and work your way over and go down here. Be slow while moving through, because there's going to be 4 birds that fly at you. Down here, enter this door, and be careful when trying to make your way away from these mice. You can wait for the first one to come out a little bit so you can jump over them. The second one, however, is really tricky to dodge if you can at all. Then wait for the cactuses to go back down, and make your way over to the next door. There's going to be a rock in front of this door, so wait for it to come at you, and then jump over it and make your way to it. Once up here, go right through the next door so that you're in the next area. You can jump on the armadillo, then jump on the moving platform, and go inside the door. Jump over the gap, because going through this door will give you an easier chance in the next area. Make a giant leap of faith to try to avoid as many of the porcupine platforms as you possibly can. There's at least 3 of them down there, so if you head through the other path, you're going to have a hard time making your way up. Then just wait for the right timing of the armadillos to do their move, then jump on top of them to defeat them. Once we finally get done with all that platforming, we finally completed the stage. We now go to playing as the second of the 3 wise men. The same physics apply and the same gameplay is here, it's just that we're playing as a different character. Remember, anytime you need health, answering one of those Bible-related questions will garner you 1 more scroll of health. The annoying part about playing in these levels is going to be these red pillars that come flying at you. Getting to know where they're going to come from is probably essential in order to make it through. If one starts pushing you, try to immediately jump over it so that it doesn't knock you back into enemies or pits. Be careful jumping over this gap because the red pillar will start flying in your path trying to knock you into that pit. Also, when you hit these birds that are sitting on the ground, when they fly up into the air after you hit them, they can still hurt you if you run into them, so wait a second for them to fall off screen before moving on. We're going to see quite a few of these snake baskets. You can push them off into pits, and also defeat the snake inside of them by spitting at them. However, there's multiple snakes inside of each basket, so after a few seconds, another one will spawn, so you gotta be quick about jumping and knocking them into pits, or if you're on a platform with one.